She walked into the courtroom like she owned it. The sound of her heels echoed across the floor as people turned their heads. Everyone could tell this woman was different. Dressed in a luxury suit, diamonds on her wrist, and that overconfident smile, she was a millionaire CEO who believed her success made her untouchable. But what she didn't know was that today, inside Judge Caprio's courtroom, she was about to learn a lesson that no amount of money could ever buy. When her name was called, she barely looked up from her phone. "Yes, that's me," she said, rolling her eyes. Judge Caprio looked at her kindly. "Ma'am, you're here for speeding in a school zone, 25 miles over the limit." She gave a sarcastic laugh and said, "Judge, let's not waste time. Just tell me the fine, I'll pay it now." The courtroom went silent. You could feel the arrogance in the air. Everyone waited to see how Judge Caprio would react. But instead of raising his voice, he leaned forward and said calmly, "In this courtroom, ma'am, everyone is equal, whether you sweep the streets or run a company." Her smirk faded a little, but she still replied sharply, "With all due respect, Judge, I have important meetings to attend. I don't have time for lectures." That's when Judge Caprio's expression changed. He reached into his drawer and pulled out an old photograph, a picture of his father. The room grew quiet. "My father was an immigrant," he said softly. "He never had money. But he taught me something that's worth more than any fortune: respect." The CEO froze. Her attitude dropped for a moment, but her pride kept her from apologizing. The judge continued, "You sped through a school zone, ma'am. What if a child had been crossing that road? What if that child was your niece, your daughter, your friend's kid?" She looked down, suddenly speechless. Then came the twist that no one expected. Judge Caprio said, "I'm not going to fine you. Your money can pay any ticket, but it can't fix your attitude. So instead, I'm sentencing you to something different." The courtroom buzzed with curiosity. The judge smiled gently and said, "You'll spend the next 30 days mentoring young women who come from poor backgrounds, girls who have dreams, but no guidance. Teach them about business, leadership, and success. But most importantly, teach them humility." The CEO looked shocked. "You're serious?" she asked. "Completely," said Judge Caprio. "Sometimes the greatest punishment is realizing how much you've forgotten." A month later, she returned. But this time, she wasn't wearing expensive jewelry or designer heels. Her hair was tied back, her tone humble. She looked up at Judge Caprio with teary eyes and said, "Judge, I met girls who walk miles just to attend school. I met mothers who can't even afford one meal for their kids. They smiled at me even though they had nothing. I thought I was successful, but I was blind. I had money, but I had no gratitude." The courtroom fell silent. Judge Caprio smiled softly and said, "Now you understand, ma'am. True success isn't about what's in your bank account. It's about what's in your heart." The CEO nodded, wiping her tears. She walked out of that courtroom a different person, not a powerful CEO, but a better human being. And as Judge Caprio watched her leave, he turned to the audience and said something everyone in that room would remember forever. In life, respect and kindness will always be more valuable than money. That day, a millionaire learned the real meaning of wealth, not from her fortune, but from a judge with a heart of gold. And that's why millions around the world still say, Judge Caprio doesn't just give verdicts, he gives life lessons.